The death is optional dialogue between Harari and Kahneman was really my first introduction to Harari. And it's going to be all this is going to be mostly about Harari because Kahneman just asks questions in the interview. But anyway, what Harari talks about is that he talks about setting the 21st century agenda. And Kahneman asks him, are these predictions? And Harari makes a point of saying that no, they're not really predictions because predictions are about narrowing the scope. And that's something, say, you want your doctor to do. You want your doctor to come in and prescribe something for you. You want to narrow the options. However, what he's trying to do is he's actually trying to broaden the field of vision. So he's trying to provide a whole bunch of different ways of looking at things. And he's looking at 20th century medicine, technology, economics, and democracy. And he says that basically in the 20th century, all of those things, the wealthy gets a better version of them, but it's supposed to be, but they do trickle down to where most of the laborers at least get some of it. And the same thing with the army, with the buyers, and even with the voters. So the whole idea, though, is that the masses, they were necessary. They were necessary for the systems in the 20th century. And this kind of creates one of the uh-ohs that I got from reading it, and that is that the two of the major items or major forces, egalitarianism and utilitarianism of the 20th century, and then the whole 20th century what you call worldview of democracy, capitalism, and humanism is all dependent upon and linked to this idea of the masses. And that in itself also means that all of our political, economic, and social systems are also tied to this concept of what the 20th century is and the need for the masses. And what he's saying is that in the 21st century, we're actually seeing it's an elitist century. It's no longer a century that requires the masses. That we're going to see it's all about upgrades. And if you have the capability to have technology making technology or robots making robots, you're really getting to where you don't need the masses that much anymore. And so what we're seeing that in the 20th century, we had this what now looks like a narrow divide between the wealthy and most of the population, and there was a sense that all the basic services would ultimately be delivered to all of the people. But in the 21st century, the technology programs and technology projects that we're talking about are really different, and they're not necessarily no reason to give them to everybody. The ability to where death becomes optional, the capability to uplink yourself to the technology, the ability to do genetic engineering, all of those things are not necessarily something that will, by definition, be available to all of the population, and so the gap will actually widen substantially. And then the idea that Kahneman asks is that, well, won't that create a revolution? And what Harari says is that, well, it really can't, because you don't have any power if you're also not necessary. So you can't be having guns against drones. So how is it possible that this came to be is one of the other questions that Kahneman asks them. And Harari says that what has happened is that, that the other if you will, is that we've gone to develop a specialized. We've gone from consciousness being advantage to intelligence being advantage. And now the question is, can we actually uncouple consciousness and intelligence? And so an intelligence like an intelligent a Google car may be intelligence is all we are asking for from our society. Anyway, thank you.